The next tactic we're going to look at is called the discovered attack or discovery. And in this type of tactic, a piece is moved to reveal an attack on another piece, and it's usually done with force. It needs to be done with force so that the opponent doesn't have a tempo to adjust or move the piece or launch a counterattack. So in this example, white has just moved to pawn to e4, and black has responded in kind. Black's developing his knight in preparation for castling, and black has developed his knight. Alright, we have the first engagement here with the pawn. Pawn is captured, knight is captured, and now black has developed his bishop, double attacking this knight. I mean, or gang attacking it rather, two attackers, one defender. So white defends it again, and we have 2 against 2. And a key thing to recognize here is, again, reducing things, the way I explain things in my book, The 6 Power Moves of Chess. You look at the most basic elements of the game, and you look at undefended pieces, checks, attack on the queen, undefended pieces, and we see that black has this undefended bishop here, and that's critical. All right, and now black doesn't realize what danger he's in and develops his knight attacking this pawn, with, which is a forcing move, and then he can castle, but he forgets about his bishop. And because, like I said, the game is a rock, paper, scissors proposition, the knight can simply capture this knight attacking the queen. That's the rub. Otherwise he could capture the bishop and the pawn could take, and they would be equal. But now he has to react to this. So he has to, let's say he captures the knight, and now the bishop is free. Or rather, well, I did it this way in the game to trade down, because we're going to be up material. So king takes, and now we capture the bishop. You could have done it either way. It wouldn't matter, but this is a little more direct, because now white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces against 4. Played well, all things being equal, he should win. Okay, here's another example of the discovered attack, which occurs fairly frequently among beginners, less experienced players. You have to learn the hard way. So we develop again with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to c3 comes out. These are just developing moves in preparation to set up the game for castling. And now the bishop comes to c4, eyeing this pawn. Yeah, you always have to see when pieces move what they are attacking, whether or not they're defended. And now this bishop comes out, attacking this pawn. Now the queen sees this undefended pawn, right? It's following some ideas of attack, but it's also violating a little principle about bringing the queen out too early. So black actually runs back with his bishop to defend that pawn. And now what happens sometimes, you kind of mindlessly follow principles, and white develops his knight. Well, the problem with that move is he's in reach of the long arm of the law here. This pawn can attack this bishop, but more importantly, it launches a discovered attack on the queen. Bishop's attacking the queen. Queen has to move. So the queen runs, and now the pawn is free to capture the bishop with this discovered attack on the queen. So whenever you move, you have to, let's back up a bit here, you have to see what if your piece can be attacked in one move. That's just looking 2 moves deep, right? So instead of moving the knight out, the queen had to see that in one move, when this pawn moves, she would be attacked and come up with a different move. Now let's look at the last example of the discovered attack. I'm going to let you try and solve the problem, and this too has occurred in many games played, actual games played. So we develop pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight out, and the knight out. So you see both pawns are being attacked by the knights, and this is a playable opening. And so the knight takes the pawn, the black pawn, and now the black knight takes the white pawn, saying, aha, you get mine, I get yours. And now the queen slides in here to attack the knight. Okay, I'm going to show you what black did in this game, which many players do to escape this attack. And he runs back to f6. All right, so I want you to find the tactic yourself. I want you to pause the video and figure out a way to capitalize on this situation with this discovered attack. So pause the video. Okay, did you find it? All right, it's white to move, and by moving the knight here, opening this file up with a check, now the queen is, this discovered attack, the queen is checking the king. At the same time, unfortunately for black, the white knight is attacking the queen. There's really nothing that black can do to avoid losing the queen. If the queen comes here, try to block, well, the knight, again, could just take the queen. And on all things being equal with good play, now black should lose the game. So be very careful in your own games and look out for discovered attacks. And at the same time, look for ways of using the discovered attack against your opponent. Now proceed to tactic number 7, called the double check.